Great big welcome back again to the Purpose Driven Life 40-Day Challenge. Whether you are new or you've been watching the entire time since day one, I encourage you to follow, whether on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, to keep up with each day that comes out for the next 40 days. We are on day 3. I'm actually excited for this one. This one's really good, so we're just going to go ahead and get right on into it. Day 3 is talking about what drives your life. What drives your life? Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 4 says, "And I saw that all toil and all achievement spring from one person's envy of another. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind." Each of our lives are driven by something. The word driven means to guide, control, or to direct. The driving of your life could be in the form of a problem, a memory, or a fear, or really many other things. It is anything that pushes you towards an achievement or a goal. Today's lesson highlights some of the things that people are driven by and some of the benefits of a purpose-driven life. Guilt. Many people punish themselves by sabotaging their own success. It's like Cain in Genesis chapter 4. When he had realized that his offering was insufficient to what God needed him to bring, he sabotaged himself by going and killing his brother and getting sent away to wander the earth aimlessly. One thing we should know is we are products of our past, but that does not mean we have to be prisoners of it. Psalms chapter 32 verses 1 and 2 say, "Blessed is the one whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. Blessed is the one whose sin the Lord does not count against him, and in whose spirit is no deceit." God has already forgiven each and every one of us. And because of Jesus Christ, we have the chance to accept that forgiveness and move on to greater things in life and not be stuck by what happened in the past. Resentment and anger is another one that drives some people's lives. Some people will bottle it up, and other people will do what we refer to as crashing out, which just means to explode in rage and to make decisions that are usually harmful. One thing we should know about resentment is that it will always hurt you more than the person that you resent. Another one is fear. Fear can stem from an unrealistic expectation, a traumatic experience, or even childhood oppression. Fear is essentially self-imprisonment. We have to use faith and love to take action in spite of what we're afraid of. 1 John chapter 4 verse 18 says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made in perfect love." And if we remember from day 2, God is love. We were made for love. But if we allow fear to go in front of that fact that we were made for love, then we cannot live in perfect love. And the next one is materialism, the desire to acquire. The idea that having more makes your life better. Let me remind you that your value is not determined by the things that you own. Money will always disappear and go away, but the love of God is here forever, no matter what. Then there's approval. Many people are controlled by the expectations of other people. This includes the unending desire to make your parents proud or peer pressure and worrying about what other people think about you. A quote from the book says that those who follow the crowd usually get lost in it. The opinions of others can easily redirect you or misdirect you from the purpose that God has for your life. Matthew chapter 6 verse 24 says, "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." In other translations of that verse, it's not just talking about money. You cannot serve both God and anything outside of God. This includes ego or your own status or the desire for status, and even a positive outlook from other people on you. Nothing should be the driving force in your life except for the purpose that God has for you. Now let's look at the benefits of living a purpose-driven life. Purpose gives meaning to your life. People will try many different things to try to find the purpose and the meaning of life. With meaning, you can accomplish just about anything that you put your mind to. Without it, there's really no point in trying. I can't quite get the words right from the quoting of the book, so I'll read it. Without God, there is no purpose. And without purpose, life has no meaning. Without meaning, life has no significance or hope. The greatest tragedy is not death, but it's life without purpose. The very popular scripture, Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans for a hope and a future." The recurring truth over this challenge is that God has a plan for your life, and it is much greater than what we can even imagine. Ephesians 3:20, "Now unto him who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us." Next, purpose simplifies your life. It becomes the standard when we decide what activities in life are necessary or useless. It is the foundation for our decisions, time usage, and resources. If it can't help me fulfill my purpose, do I need it? Proverbs 13:7 says, "One person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another person pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth." Then purpose focuses your life. It concentrates your energy and effort on what's important. So many distractions all over the place. My word for this year has been focus. Without purpose, you'll just continue changing everything and creating confusion. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 17 says, "Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." Like a magnifying glass starting a fire, there is nothing more powerful than a focused life. If you want your life to have impact, focus it. Slow down, do one thing, and do it well. Busyness does not equal productivity. Now, purpose motivates your life. Purpose will always produce passion. When you have a clear purpose, you will do everything in your power to see that fulfilled. When you are focused on God's will for the entire thing, it will excite and energize you for the entire journey. And lastly, but not least, purpose prepares you for eternity. Legacy will always be inferior to eternity. What others say about you after you're gone will not matter. What God says after you're gone from earth, that's what matters. And what we leave behind will eventually be gone as well. Eternity means forever and beyond. So the book makes me think about two questions that God may ask before we enter eternity. Number one, what did you do with my son Jesus and what he offered you? This will determine where you spend eternity. And number two, what did you do with what I gave you? Your giftings, your purpose, your resources. This will determine what you do when you enter eternity. Now, for day 3, let us remember, living on purpose is the path to peace. What drives your life? Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." Now here's a question to think about for the next day. What would my friends and family say drives my life? And then, what would I want that driving force to be? For my answer, I would say Jesus and Jesus. If you know me, for the most part, I will try to put Jesus into every conversation, somehow, some way, whether it's subtle or I'm going on and on and on and on and on. Jesus is definitely the driving force of my life. I'm driven by wanting to see the same experience that I have with Jesus, which is nothing but goodness and love. I want to see that for everybody. Now again, if this video has brought anything good to what you know about life and how you even feel about life, share it to someone else so that they can learn and feel just as good as you do about what we learned today. And also, if you haven't followed already, go ahead and follow so that you can keep up with every day that comes out and joining me on this Purpose Driven Life 40-day challenge. Thank you.